The Ford Mustang is one of the most famous cars in the world. Since it first came out in 1964, it's become a symbol of American car design. Over its 7 generations, the Mustang has seen many rare and special additions. Throughout its nearly 60-year history, the Mustang has kept evolving with various cool designs, including some unique models by famous Italian designers that were never sold in the US. Here are some of the rarest Mustangs ever made. Number 10. 2009 Ford Mustang Azteca 45th Anniversary. The S197 generation of the Ford Mustang isn't the most loved version, but it had some redeeming special additions. One of them is the Azteca 45th Anniversary Mustang, which celebrated 45 years of the Ford Mustang. Named after the man who helped create the Mustang, this car was released in 2009, just before the S197 model got its first major update. Only 45 of these cars were made. Michael Leon designed the new body, crafted by the Gafolio family metal crafters. The interior stayed the same, but got a more luxurious touch with lots of leather. 4.6L V8 engine was supercharged to 400 horsepower, and you could get it with either a 5-speed manual or 5-speed automatic transmission. Number 9. 2022 Ford Mustang Shelby GT 500 code. Red, the S550. Mustang Shelby GT 500 is a groundbreaking model. It's the first Mustang Shelby GT 500 with an independent rear suspension and a dual-clutch automatic transmission. 5.2L supercharged Predator engine is already powerful, with 760 horsepower and 625 lb-ft of torque. There's even a King of the Road package that boosts horsepower to 900. But the Code Red edition goes even further. It replaces the supercharger with 2 of them, resulting in an astonishing 1,300 horsepower and 1,000 lb-ft of torque. The Code Red name actually goes back to an experimental Mustang from 2008. This time, it's a production model, with only 10 units made each year for a total of 30 cars. However, there's a catch. The Mustang Shelby GT 500 Code Red is designed for the track, meaning you can't legally drive it on the road. Number 8. 2011 Ford Mustang Shelby 1000. If we're talking about peak old-school Mustangs, we can't skip the S197 Mustang Shelby 1000. This wasn't just any car you could buy right off the lot. It started life as a Shelby GT 500 and then got a major upgrade. 5.4L supercharged V8 was already powerful, but to handle 1,000 horsepower reliably, the entire engine was taken apart and rebuilt with better parts. It still kept the 6-speed manual transmission and live rear axle, making it a beast on the drag strip and exciting to drive around corners. This was the last car Carroll Shelby worked on before he passed away. Only 23 S197 Shelby GT 500S were converted into the Shelby 1000. Number 7. 1979 Ford Mustang SVPM 81. McLaren, the 1970s were tough for car lovers because of the oil crisis, which forced car makers to reduce power in their vehicles. The Ford Mustang was no exception. Even the third-generation Fox body Mustang, which was supposed to bring the car back to popularity, didn't get real power until the 1990s. But some special versions from the 1970s and 1980s tried to fix that. One of them came from an unlikely collaboration with McLaren. They helped Ford add some life to the Fox body with a 2.3L turbocharged engine, which was basically a Pinto engine with a turbocharger, producing 175 horsepower, a 33 horsepower increase from the standard car. Despite having a 5-speed manual transmission, the car was still quite slow, managing the quarter mile in 17.37 seconds at 79.2 miles per hour. Out of the 249 planned M81 Mustangs, only 10 were made. Number 6. 1971 Ford Mustang Shelby Europa. For a long time, the Ford Mustang was sold only in North America. It wasn't until the S550 model that the Mustang became a global car. However, in 1971 and 1972, a Belgian Shelby dealer named Claude Dubois managed to sell 14 first-generation redesigned Mustangs in Europe. These European Mustang Shelbys were based on the Mach 1 platform and had either 351 or 428 cubic-inch V8 engines, producing 360 and 400 horsepower, respectively. Out of the 9 cars, only 2 were convertibles. One of the 3 Mustang Shelby Europas, a red coupe, was stolen in 1987 and never found. These European models featured distinctive stripes, front and rear spoilers, adjustable front suspension, and Coney shocks. Number 5. 1965 Ford Mustang Ferguson AWD. Before the all-electric Mustang Mach-E, the idea of an all-wheel drive Mustang seemed almost impossible. However, right after the original Mustang came out, UK-based Ferguson Research introduced the first all-wheel drive system for passenger cars. Ford wanted to make the Mustang even more popular, so they struck a deal with Ferguson. Ford shipped 265 Mustangs with 289 V8 engines to England, where they were fitted with the AWD system, which sent 63% of the torque to the rear wheels. The system worked great, but Ford decided it was too complex and expensive. Only 3 units of the 1965 Ford Mustang Ferguson AWD were made. Number 4. 1965 Ford Mustang GT 350RR. The mid-1960s was an exciting time for cars. The Chevy Corvette was dominating SCCA racing, and Ford had just launched the Mustang Coupe in 1964. However, the Mustang wasn't seen as a muscle car back then. Instead, it had a bit of a secretary's car image due to its lackluster performance. Because of this and the rivalry with Chevy, Ford needed a solution. That solution was the GT 350 program, which aimed to build a Mustang that could compete with the SCCA Corvettes. The result of the GT 350 program was the GT 350R, a significantly modified version of the Mustang. The interiors were stripped down to just the essentials. Lightweight metal replaced the rear quarter glass, and all other remaining glass was replaced with acrylic panels. The second prototype weighed only 2,550 pounds and could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 5.5 seconds and complete the quarter mile in around 13.6 seconds. Impressive for that time. In total, Ford made 2 prototypes and 34 production race cars. Number 3. 1967 Ford Shelby Mustang GT 500 Convertible. By 1967, Ford and Shelby were working well together. In 1965, Shelby built 562 different Shelby Mustangs, and by 1966, that number jumped to 2,378. However, for the 1967 model year, only one GT 500 fastback prototype was produced, and that's the car we're talking about today. The only 1967 Shelby GT 500 convertible in existence. Originally, the 1967 Shelby GT 500 convertible was supposed to go into mass production. However, the styling tweaks meant the parts wouldn't fit the production cars that Ford was sending over. As a result, production was paused. Eventually, Ford brought Shelby production in-house, and the 1967 GT 500 convertible was forgotten, making it one of the rarest convertible Mustangs. It's also the only convertible Mustang in Ford history to have more than one carburetor and LED lights in the turn signals. Number 2. 2006 Ford Mustang Juaro. The S197 Mustang's retro design inspired many designers to reimagine it. In 2006, Italian designer Fabrizio Giugiaro turned the retro-futuristic Mustang into a sleek European sports car. Giugiaro altered every aspect of the S197 Mustang, starting with the A-pillar, which sat at a 45-degree angle. The design was likely inspired by the 1966 Mustang Mach 1 concept. 4.6L V8 engine was supercharged to 500 horsepower and paired with a 5-speed manual transmission. The interior kept its classic styling, but was upgraded to feel like an exclusive European sports car. It even featured scissor doors. Only one unit of this concept car was produced, making it super rare. Number 1. 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 429 Lawman. The 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 429 is not only one of the most iconic Mustangs, but also one of the most iconic American muscle cars. Its 429 cubic inch V8 engine was developed for NASCAR racing and was notoriously underrated. However, the engine was heavy, affecting the car's handling. The original car's weight distribution was 51.5/48.5, which wasn't great. To address this, Ford experimented with a mid-engine version of the Boss 429, called the Boss 429 Lawman. Ford Special Vehicles and Carcraft turned the 9-inch rear axle and the 429 V8 engine 180 degrees, along with the C6 automatic transmission. The car was fully functional, but the performance gains weren't significant enough to justify production costs, so only one unit was made. If you found our exploration of the rarest Ford Mustangs interesting, do like and subscribe to our channel. Wait for our next video, where we will be talking about some more intriguing collections for our car enthusiast community. Take care, until next time.